You're listening to the School Leadership Reimagined podcast, episode 139. How do builders like us make a dramatic difference in the lives of our students in spite of all the obstacles we face? How do you keep your vision for your school from being held hostage by resistant teachers, uncooperative parents, ridiculous district policies, or a lack of time, money, or resources? If you're facing those challenges right now, here is where you'll find the answers, strategies, and actionable tips you need to overcome any obstacle you face. You don't have to wait to make a difference in the lives of the people you serve. You can turn your school into a success story right now with the people and resources you already have. Let's get started. Hey builders, welcome to another episode of the School Leadership Reimagined podcast. I'm your host, Robyn Jackson, and today we're going to continue to examine the difference between the way that leaders do things and the way that builders do things. We're going to talk about the difference between tweaking and true transformation. Now, before we do that, a couple of really big announcements to come up. First of all, we have sold out of tickets for Builders Lab. So Builders Lab is happening in a couple of weeks. So excited. I have completely rewritten 2 sessions already. They're so good. I'm just really excited about it. And we have something new that I'm hoping we can pull off and introduce at this Builders Lab. That's going to be something that's going to be a part of both Builders Lab and Buildership University going forward. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But what I do want to tell you about right now is that if you want to get a sneak peek inside of Builders Lab, if you actually want to see the entire opening session of Builders Lab absolutely free, you need to join Buildership University because we're going to be posting that first session inside of Buildership University. Now, if you're already a member of Buildership University, it'll be there in your dashboard for you. If you're not a member of Buildership University, all you need to do is go to buildershipuniversity.com and get a free membership. Once you get that free membership, you're going to get all kinds of things. You won't just be able to see the opening session of Builders Lab. Every single month, we load a resource. And this month, we've loaded in our month-by-month, year-long master scheduling calendar, which is an amazing tool to help you stay on track, to get your master schedule done on time, and to make sure that you're building a master schedule that's truly aligned and truly supported by everybody in your school. So that calendar is there inside of Buildership University. When you join today, you'll get access to that. You'll also get access to dozens of other practical resources just like that for free. Plus, every single month inside of Buildership University, I do an Ask Me Anything session where you can get on and get some coaching from me, absolutely free. And we do some sort of training of some sort. And this month we're doing a vision training, which is really about getting your vision statement straight. So you can come on, bring your vision statement, and I can coach you into creating a builder's vision statement. That's happening inside of Buildership University. And did I mention that you can join for free? So you need to get into Buildership University, and to do that, go to buildershipuniversity.com and you can sign up. Now, some of you are going to want a little bit more intense support. And if you do, then I invite you to join my favorite group of builders, which are the Buildership University Insiders. And the BU Insiders are where I spend the majority of my time these days. I am coaching them. I'm working with them. I'm helping them level up their buildership. We have some really cool things that we're launching this year. We have BU Commons where we can get email support, kind of constant chat support. We have office hours every other week where we come and work on our stuff, our challenges. And the nice thing about having office hours every other week is that you come to one office hours, you get some support, you go back and implement it, and then you come to the next office hours and report how it's going and get additional support. So if you want more of a sustained ongoing support to help you grow as a builder, then I invite you to join BU Insiders. And again, you can find that at buildershipuniversity.com. All right, let's talk about our big topic of the day, which is the difference between tweaking, which is what you were trained to do as a leader, and transformation, which is what you learn to do as a builder. Now, you might think, no, I am a transformational leader. I've done all this work on transformation. But when you really look at the work you're doing, you're not achieving transformation. You're just a better tweaker than everybody else. The challenge is that if you focus on transformational leadership or any other kind of leadership paradigm, you are trapped by the confines of leadership. It is still leadership. It's not transformation. Let me give you an example. So I'm going to try to change the situation enough to protect people, because I'm not here to tell on people, but I was thinking about it recently, a situation that happened, and it captures so well the difference between tweaking and transformation that I want you to learn from it. So I'm going to try. So I was working with a client on helping them transform the way that they ran schools in their district. And by run schools, I don't mean, what time do they start or what time the buses come, but really thinking about how do you take those schools and set high goals. So the schools are underperforming in this district. They're, pretty low performing schools. And for years, they've been that way. The culture is broken in this particular district. There's some legacy cultural baggage that they're still trying to untangle. In the meantime, students are failing at alarming rates, and COVID has not helped things. So they need a transformation. They can't continue to do what they've always done. They said they wanted a transformation when they talked to me. We want real transformation. We are tired of tweaking. We're tired. We want real transformation. And they said they bought into Buildership, and they did conceptually until they actually had to implement Buildership in their buildings. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, Buildership feels very uncomfortable, and they started to regress towards what they'd always done with leadership. And I see this a lot. I have told you stories about times where districts have called me to come in to help them with that work and to help them reimagine what school leadership could look like for them and to embrace Buildership. And once we get in and they actually have to start doing the work, all of a sudden they start backpedaling. And I see it a lot. And, I wish I need to do a better job of kind of detecting at the beginning. But I know that there are some things that I hear that let me know that people are not ready for true transformation. And maybe you hear these things too. So when people are saying, hey, we want to get better at, and they start talking to you about all the ways they want to tweak or all the things that they are doing already, then those people are invested in what they are already doing, and they are not interested in transformation. What they're interested in doing is getting better at doing the things they're already doing. They've already bought into a paradigm and a solution. When people come and say, listen, we know what we're doing is not working, and they talk more about the challenges and trying to understand the root cause of those challenges so that they can solve those challenges, those are the people who are ready for transformation. And so when I talk to people a lot of times and I start, this is a flaw of mine, right? Like when I can, one of the things I believe is that your biggest strength is also your biggest liability. One of my biggest strengths is that I can see the potential in something. You give me an idea and I can see I see it. I see what it's going to look like at the end. I see how you can make it work. I'm really good at that. The problem is not everybody is interested in hearing how to transfer. They like to dream. They don't actually want to do the work it takes to make the dream come true. And so they'll tell me, I really want to, increase my graduation rates and get to the point where everybody who comes in as a freshman graduates as a senior in 4 years, and they successfully transition to the rest of their lives. We don't have any dropouts. Kids stick with it. I really want that. And then we start looking at, okay, well, how can we make that happen? And I can see it. I learn a little bit about their schools. I'm like, oh, okay, you could do this, this, and this. And then they start saying, no, I don't really want to do that. And I said, well, okay, let's try this, this, and this. No, I don't want to do that one either. Okay. Let me understand a little bit more about why you don't want to do that. What are the barriers you're seeing? Okay, well, let's remove some of those barriers. No, I don't. It just starts to make them uncomfortable. They would rather dream than actually make the dream happen. And as builders, this is something that you need to be careful of. Because if you've truly embraced buildership, you're going to start seeing solutions where everybody else sees problems. But there are some people who are really married to their problems. They're in love with their problems. They don't envision a world where the problem goes away, and they spend all their time talking about their problem and tweaking around their problem, but they don't really, really want to eliminate their problem. And so you have to be careful, because not everybody who's talking about transformation really wants transformation. And being careful involves two things. One, you have to do a self-check. There are things that I will often say I want. And then when it comes down to actually doing it, I realize I don't want it that much. My doctor said I really need to be careful around, what I eat. I need to make sure that I'm moving more. I need to watch my weight. I'm getting older, so I need to get more active, make sure that I'm eating whole grains and that sort of thing. And I say that I want to be healthy, but do I still eat a big fat muffin every morning when I should be eating something healthier? Am I dedicating a half an hour a day to moving my body in some way versus, at the end of the day, lying down and, opening up something mindless and reading it because I'm just too exhausted? We all do that. We all say we want a transformation. But when it comes down to doing the work it would take to get to that transformation, we realize we really don't want the transformation more than we want to keep things the way they are. So as a builder, you need to look for that. You need to be aware of that. Not everybody who's talking about transformation is willing to do the work. Some people are so in love with their problems that they don't want, or so in love with the status quo that they don't want to change. They would rather stay in their problems than do the work it takes to solve their problems. Just like I would rather stay, borderline healthy, need to lose a few pounds, than I would rather work out a couple of times a week and maybe give up the muffin every single day. So once you understand that, it keeps you from wasting your time. You see, you can give teachers some feedback, and the teachers can say, I want to do better, and they can seek out your help. But you have to be careful, because not everybody who's looking for your help is willing to do what it takes to move things forward. You may have colleagues who, see what you're doing in your school, and they're jealous. They want to know, what are you doing at your school? How are you able to continue this work in the middle of a lasting pandemic? How are you able to get your teachers to still be enthusiastic every day? How are you overcoming teacher burnout? How are you still helping students see progress? But not everybody who's asking you for that advice is willing to do what you are willing to do as a builder. So be careful. Don't get frustrated. Know that even though people want your results, they don't want to do the work it takes to get there. And the sooner you learn that as a builder, the better. Because one of the things we say all the time is that when you become a builder, it makes you a bit of a weirdo, because you're willing to do what other people aren't willing in order to achieve results that other people aren't getting. But the more successful you become as a builder, the more people are going to want to know what you do. And you're going to be excited to share it with them. But not everybody is going to be willing to do the work. And so you have to be careful that you don't get frustrated when you see the way, when you've made it work in your school and you want to make it work in other schools in your district, and you start evangelizing the work that you're doing, and everybody else is, that's you. I remember when I first started teaching AP, and my story, I was working to really make AP more equitable, give it more access, continue with the rigor, get more students passing the AP test. And so after that first year where I was able to triple the enrollment and increase the number of kids passing the AP test and get kids who weren't traditional AP students to be successful in highly rigorous work, a lot of teachers came to my classroom and they wanted to know, wow, how did you do that? How did you get this kid? He won't do any work for me. How are you getting that kid to do work? Oh, how are you eliminating failure in your on-level classes so you have no failures? Well, I started showing them the student support system, and I started showing them the way that I mapped out AP. And there was always a point where their eyes would start to glaze over, because what they were really looking for was a tip, a tactic, a strategy. They weren't really looking for true transformation. You see, in order for me to get to the point where I had no student failures, I had to transform everything I did. And I had to try some things that didn't work, and I had to evaluate and revamp in real time. Not everybody's willing to do that. When people come to you and ask, how are you able to get all of your teachers on board and committed to your vision? Well, not everybody's going to be willing to do what it takes to do that. I even see it with vision statements. We have these vision workshops, and I believe the first step to being a builder is you have to have a builder's vision. So we do these free workshops because I believe that once you have that vision, then everything changes. And people come to the workshops and they say, yeah, I want a new vision. And then they read me this paragraph long vision statement that they've crafted. And I start giving them feedback about why that's not a builder's vision. It does include 100% of their kids. It's not specific about a specific outcome you want for those kids. You can't measure it. All the things that we talk about, and they're not particularly passionate about it. And then some people are like, but I spent 2 hours working on this, or this is the one my teachers like, or this is the one that I had as a school, or we just spent all this money on a consultant who helped us write this vision. And I'm okay, all of those things may be true, but you still don't have a vision that's going to mobilize your school. So are you more wedded to the vision you crafted and spent 2 hours on, or spent money on a consultant on, or spent 3 days working on with your staff? Or are you committed to transformation, which requires a new vision? Up to you. And a lot of people would rather, they even though they feel the pain of their problems, they would rather stay in their problems and try to tweak their way towards a solution rather than stepping away from their problems and really focusing on true transformation. I don't get it. But there are a lot of people who are willing to do that. You need to recognize that, and you need to make sure that you don't fall into that category. You see, some people, when they come to you and they see the success that you're having as a builder, they're going to want to know what you're doing. But what they're really looking for is a tweak, a tip. Which software package do you use? Well, it doesn't matter your software package. It's just a tool. Or, I see you're using a teacher dashboard. Can you send me that template? Well, the teacher dashboard is just a tool. It doesn't, there's no magic in the dashboard and in the template. What the magic is in that you are consistently thinking about how you help every teacher grow one level in one domain in 1 year or less. And the dashboard helps you stay focused on that and keeps you organized around that. So there's no magic in the dashboard. Or they'll say, I need core values. Can you send me your core values? And then they just kind of copy yours or hand those out to the staff and say, we want those core values too. I see this all the time. One of our big core values is drama-free work environment. People are like, oh yeah, because we have too much drama in our school. That's going to be one of our core values. And they don't really want to do the work it takes to have a truly drama-free work environment. They just want to be able to say it. They just want to be able to call people out on their drama without recognizing that they are also bringing drama to the table, and they have to remove the drama that they're bringing, as well as call people out on the drama that those people are bringing. So people say they want transformation, but what they really want are tactics. I'll be on a coaching call with a group of people. This is not true for insiders. I mean, people who are BU insiders, they get it. That's why they're insiders, right? They're and that's what makes the community so special, is that everybody in insiders gets it. But oftentimes I'll do coaching calls or other calls with people who don't quite get it yet. And they are coming to the call because they're hoping to pick up a new tip or a strategy. Sometimes I'm doing a whole workshop and there are people who are there because they really want to solve their problems. And there are other people who are there who are just looking for another tip, another strategy. And they add that to their tool bag and they keep adding all these tips and strategies, and you end up having a hot mess, not a plan. You end up having an amalgamation of strategies, but no real focus and no real transformation. So I'll be sitting on these calls and I'll talk to people about, they'll say, well, hey, do you have, is there a script I can use for a teacher who is really resisting my feedback? Or what can I do about that teacher? And then I start asking questions. I start asking things like, okay, so have you understood or diagnosed the source of their resistance? No. Do you know the teacher's will driver? No. Does the teacher have a point? Are there certain things that are barriers that are in the teacher's way from being able to perform? And do you understand what those barriers are? No. but can I just get a script? Well, if you don't understand those things, no script will work. I mean, I have scripts. I mean, one of my mentors gave me a great script, and it works most of the time, but only if you do the thinking that has to happen before you use the script will the script work. You can't just grab the script and read it to somebody and then hope that it's some sort of magical incantation that transforms a resistant teacher to a cooperative teacher in the space of 5 minutes so you can get on with the rest of your day. You know, people will come inside a Buildership University and they'll be like, "Oh, I need this tool. This is cool." And I'm like, "Well, why do you need this tool?" "Well, it's cool. It's a tool. It's a feedback tool, and I can always upgrade my feedback." But to what end? If you don't have a vision, your feedback is not going to be as powerful because you're not moving people towards the right vision. You know, one of the reasons we talk about helping people grow one level in one domain in 1 year or less, it's not because we just want people, you know, climbing the ladder on the teacher evaluation system, but we're picking out where is the domain that is most important and most critical for that teacher to grow so that teacher can be a part of your school's achieving its vision for your students. That takes more thought, that takes more energy, that takes more effort, but it gives you so much more reward. I see a lot of principals bragging about, "Oh, look at my new discipline system." And your discipline system has 57 steps, and you're still having kids being referred to the office. So while it's a great, shiny, flashy discipline system, it hasn't solved your discipline problem. It's a tweak. Meanwhile, builders are quietly eliminating disciplinary issues altogether. They don't need a fancy disciplinary system because they don't have that many referrals, because kids are happy to be in class and excited about being in class and engaged in the work. So why do I need a fancy discipline system? Because my goal is not to process kids through my discipline system more efficiently. My goal is to remove disciplinary issues altogether. Do you see the difference between the way that builders think and the way we were trained to think as leaders? If you really, really want to be a builder, you got to stop looking for tweaks, tactics, strategies. And I see people all the time posting online, "Anybody got a policy for the lunchroom?" And people start sharing, "Well, I do this in my lunchroom, and I do this in my lunchroom." And that sounds great. Here's the problem. If your policy for the lunchroom is not aligned to your vision, who cares? What works for me may not work for you because my vision and my focus is different than yours. My population is different from yours. So just asking somebody to give you a policy rather than sifting that policy through your vision, mission, and core values is useless. You waste so much time chasing the tactic and tweaking that you never achieve transformation. And this is why so many of us are tired and burned out. Now, I know when you're new or when you're starting out, you don't feel like you have systems. So, you know, you grab the systems that were there, or you look for somebody else who is in your mind, a successful principal, and you see what they're doing and you hear their success story and you try to pull what they're doing into your building. And let me tell you, it doesn't work. It's a tweak. If you really want to get your footing as somebody who's new to a building or new to the principalship altogether, you need to establish things. You need to know how to establish things in the school you have to achieve the vision that you want. That's not a tweak. That's not a quick strategy that I can grab on Friday and, you know, change the names and put my school logo on it and print it out and hand it out on Monday. But quite frankly, that stuff doesn't work for you anyway long term. That's the thing about tweaks. They make you feel good in the short term because they make you feel like, "Oh, I have more control. I am more efficient." But are you having more control and being more efficient in the right stuff? And do you really have more control, or is it just giving you the illusion of more control? True transformation takes more work. And not necessarily more time and more energy and more effort, but more of that mental work of thinking through something before you do it, of playing chess, not checkers. Tweaking is like playing checkers. I just got to focus on the move right in front of me. Transformation is like chess, which you're always considering, if I move here, what will happen to my school? And how will this affect my ultimate goal of achieving my vision for my school? So I know that we were taught to do this. I know that we're even rewarded for tweaking stuff. Like I go to schools all the time and they're like, okay, this year we're really focusing on getting all of our teachers to post learning intentions, or getting, this year we're going to really focus on getting our PBIS process in place. And those are great, but those are distractions. If you can't show me how that is going to get you to your vision, why are you doing it? It makes you feel good. That's why. It makes you feel like you're doing something. That's why. But it isn't moving your school towards transformation. And can we really afford, especially as stressed out as everybody is, to just keep doing work that isn't actually resulting in the transformation that we want for our students? So yeah, it's hard. It's hard because you have to unlearn the stuff that you were always taught to do as a leader, and you have to reshape your mindset as a builder. But once you do that, I always say that when you become a builder, you can see inside the matrix. You start to actually see how things work out. They say that chess masters, when they're moving, they can see 4 moves ahead, 5 moves ahead. When you become a builder, that's what happens to you. You're not reacting to every little thing. You're not looking for a new tweak to solve this new problem that shows up. Instead, you're anticipating how the problems are going to show up, and you're doing the work to eliminate those problems altogether. It's a big difference, and it means everything to your students, because your students don't deserve to be tweaked. If they're failing, helping 5% or 3% less students fail next year, or helping them fail a little less and be a little less behind, that's not serving your students. Eliminating failure, now we're talking. Making sure that they're 100% successful, now we're talking. So this week, here's your challenge. I want you to stop tweaking. I want you to start to recognize when you are defaulting to a tweak. And I want you to stop playing checkers and start playing chess. Start thinking through, what is it that I really want for my students? What is my vision? And if you don't want to know what your vision is and you want help with that, then join Buildership University. We have vision workshops all the time where you can come in and get support on your vision statement. So I'll help you with that. But get clear on your vision. And then instead of looking for a tweak to solve a problem that's cropped up, start thinking like a builder and say, wait a minute, how do I eliminate that problem altogether so that I can transform the school so that we can achieve this vision? Instead of grabbing something quick because it feels easy and it makes you feel good, like you're more efficient, start weighing every decision through the lens of your vision, your mission, and your core values, and say, will this help me move there? Is this strategy or this tweak that I'm grabbing aligned with that? And if it's not, I don't need it. Instead of feeling like you have to do all the things, you're going to get laser focused so that you are only doing the things that matter. My challenge to you this week is to let go of tweaking. It's a crutch. So let it go and start thinking in terms of transformation. Because when you do that, you stop thinking like a leader who's reactive and vulnerable to every new change and stressed out and looking always for a new strategy that maybe this time will work. And you start thinking like a builder. I'll talk to you next time. Hey, if you're ready to get started being a builder right away, then I want to invite you to join us at Buildership University. It's our exclusive online community for builders just like you, where you'll be able to get the exact training that you need to turn your school into a success story right now with the people and resources you already have. Inside, you'll find our best online courses, live trainings with me, tons of resources, templates, and exemplars, and monthly live office hours with me, where you can ask me anything and get my help on whatever challenge you're facing right now. If you're tired of hitting obstacle after obstacle and you're sick of tiny little incremental gains each year, if you're ready to make a dramatic difference in your school right now, then you need to join Buildership University. Just go to buildershipuniversity.com and get started writing your school success story today.